Hi friends, I'm Marielle and this is a tending moment. I just wanted to share with you a brief tending truth that the Lord gave me as I was tending my way through the book of Habakkuk. Today I finished it and did the last 3 verses in the book of Habakkuk, and one of the truths that stood out to me so beautifully as I unpacked verse 19, it says here of God, Habakkuk is speaking to the Lord, and he's telling him that despite everything that's coming, all of the judgment that God is allowing to come to his people through the Chaldeans, through the Babylonians, that he is sending to bring judgment, that even despite that, even despite difficult circumstances, Habakkuk is saying to God, "Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. God the Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the deer's. He makes me tread on high places." And as I examined those verses and noticed the lessons in those verses, what stood out to me were the names of God that are used here by Habakkuk. He says in Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 18, he says, "I will rejoice in Yahweh." That is the covenant-keeping name of God. Then he says, "I will take joy in the God of my salvation." That is Elohim. So he says, I will rejoice. I will have the choice to rejoice. I will make the choice to rejoice in the covenant-keeping God. And I will take my joy, despite my circumstances, my joy will be in the creator of my salvation. Then in 19, he says, God, and you see that in the ESV, that is in all caps. That means that is also the same name of God used in verse 18, where you see Lord in all caps. It's Yahweh, the covenant-keeping God. So in 19, he addresses the covenant-keeping God and says, he says, God the Lord is my strength. Well, so when it says God in 19, he's saying Yahweh, the covenant-keeping God. And then he says that he is his Adonai, which is his master, his authority. So he's saying, Yahweh, my authority, my strength. He makes my feet like the deer's and makes me tread on high places. And this is a picture of Habakkuk recognizing that not only is God a covenant-keeping God, but God is also the one in authority over Habakkuk. He keeps covenant and he has authority. And in having authority, Habakkuk is recognizing that if God is his master and his authority, then Habakkuk is fully dependent on him. And when he puts his full dependence on him, he can see him as my strength, as his own personal strength, and he sees his perspective shift. He makes my feet like the deer's and makes me tread on high places. Y'all, we live in a hard, I was going to say post-COVID time, but it's not even really post-COVID yet, is it? We live in hard, tumultuous times. Even within our own personal lives, our own families, our own homes. Things are hard and scary, as they were for Habakkuk and God's people at this time. The southern kingdom was about to be taken captive, and God was telling Habakkuk about it. And Habakkuk was scared. But Habakkuk knew the names of God and the character of God and prayed that back to God in recognition that God alone is where his dependence needs to be. And in that, in placing our dependence alone on God and trusting him to do all things well, we will gain strength and our perspective will be taken to high places. He makes me tread on my high places. He shifts my perspective. As we position our hearts this August for what is ahead for the season of schooling, who knows what that's going to hold, the next season of ministry, the next season of work, Maybe the next season just in your marriage or in your own personal life. We don't know what the next season holds, but God does. And as we come to Him recognizing who He is and recognizing our dependence on Him, He will shift our perspective and give us His perspective. So I pray that's encouraging to you as it was to me this morning when I spent time with the Lord in it. And if you're looking for other ways to learn how to tend verses into your soul, let me know. Respond back to this email. I would love to serve you in that way. And if you're looking for ways to know God better through His names and know His heart, His attributes, let me know that too. I'm going to put a link in here for you guys to be able to get the Names of God study that I've put together, and I pray that that will bless you. I'll see you next time.